Welcome back to the discussion. Gentlemen, cyberbullying, it's a relatively new phenomenon that especially is damaging because unlike traditional bullying, it doesn't end when school is done for the day. It's not just an 8-hour window where somebody might have to put up with torment. It continues on into the rest of their lives. Is this a main contributor in anxiety and youth depression?
I don't know the answer to that, Kevin, and perhaps Brian has some comments on it. What I guess I can realize is that if young people, or if anybody is not feeling very powerful in themselves, not very confident, and they feel they can get at people, show strength, show power through this new vehicle called the internet, I could imagine they would use that. And I've certainly heard evidence of its destructive effects, and today heard about the destructive effects of some children on teachers. So it can go both ways.
That's a really good point.
I think that, I mean, the challenge with cyberbullying, as you said, is that it is something that potentially you can be exposed to for 24 hours. Historically, when, with bullying, it would be an 8-hour kind of scenario perhaps in the school, but the fact that the internet and other vehicles are a significant way in which children are communicating. I mean, that capacity and desire to be on there, coupled with potentially being exposed to all the commentary that I think people have identified that tends to be, because it has an anonymous kind of component.
That's right.
The things that are said are oftentimes more powerful and more inflicting, and can be passed on to a wider audience than even a traditional school setting. It can be community, it can be even larger than that, and so I think definitely has an impact for sure.
I mean, there must be the perpetrator. Somebody who is going to bully over the internet. I mean, does that individual themselves have a potential mental illness? They would think that's unnatural behavior, is it not?
Again, I think it's complicated. I think in looking at the types of individuals and characteristics that may engage in bullying behavior, I mean, we certainly have some sense of who those individuals are. I think the biggest defense to bullying is the capacity for children to confront individuals who may be engaging in those types of bullying behaviors. That's certainly the power of the group. I think the anonymity of the internet is such that who's going to, unless it's a chat room or some other kind of area where you can get that that feedback or that challenge to the things that are being said.
That's good insight on your part, Kevin, to say that the bullier also has a problem and may come out of a bullied family, may come out of a situation where they haven't learned any other way of dealing with their anger, their hurt, whatever. So a real opportunity to intervene there if it's caught early, if adults or responsible young people confront it, get that person into the proper care or the proper attention of people that can help.
Well, and it's no secret. I mean, Canadians, we do suffer as a nation with mental health issues across the board. As a matter of fact, I believe we take more pharmaceuticals than most other nations in the developed world, which to me was a little surprising, albeit as it is. Family members who suffer from mental illness, I mean, it is going to trickle down, is it not? There is potential for parents that suffer from mental illness to inflict children, be it through genetics. I guess the studies will continue, but behaviors are related to, and it's sometimes mirrored, I would think, as well.
Yeah, I think it's some of the fundamental formative years. I mean, the challenge, I think, if you have a parent that has a mental health condition, I mean, as we know, those early stages of development, attachment, attunement, having somebody who can emotionally and reciprocally engage with you when somebody is struggling with mood or struggling with challenges to reality because maybe there's other types of psychoses or something at play. That's such a critical, those interactions and validation of the young person, and also witnessing the coping strategies that a parent may manifest as a way to manage. And so you're seeing those things, and you're bearing witness to those things, and it's having an impact.
You're learning those styles.
Absolutely, and we're talking about coping. I think even an example of the bullying piece, it is a pattern of coping behavior. The likelihood is that there are things that child has experienced in some way, that this is how they react and respond to some of these challenges and difficulties. And I think we need to understand more fully the complexities of that, because we need to look at behaviors and mood and emotions as a symptom that we need to more fully understand and attempt to address and in a systematic way, whether that's in the school, whether it's multiple systems that are supporting a child developing or growing.
So is the smarter play the study of bullies' behavior, or is punishment the way to go?
Well, I don't believe punishment is the again, if we look at the incidences, I think what we really need to be going back to the early intervention prevention part. There's very clear indicators and signs at a very early age of those individuals who may be predisposed to acting in antisocial or aggressive fashions. And so I think we need to really be targeting our energies and support, not as a how do we deal with this in junior high, but rather to say when we have kids in kindergarten and in elementary age where we're looking at these things involving the child and the family and the school, the teachers, in a very proactive rather than a reactive.
I think that makes a lot of sense. That's a progressive way of thinking about things. That's the way we should be thinking about things. Are Albertans, though, necessarily buying that way of doing things?
Let me just say that I was very inspired this past year when I held an evening public forum on children's mental health and had a packed room of parents and young people and some older people who went through a difficult time and never got the support they needed. They're in their 20s and 30s now and wanted to tell their story. There's an inspiring psychiatrist in Calgary named Alan Donsky who has left psychiatric practice and gone into the school system full-time to teach mindfulness.
Cool.
Young people coming to terms with who they are, having the space to think about that, to be present, what it feels like to just be present and be accepted just in that ambience, in that atmosphere, and learning to talk about their feelings, talk about what they're experiencing, talk about what feels good, what doesn't feel good. And that is a breakthrough for many young people who don't know how to express feelings, especially boys, and start to recognize that it's okay to feel things, it's okay to express things that you feel, and you can have an interesting and good learning environment for becoming a younger person, an adult, growing through this stuff. It doesn't have to paralyze you. It doesn't have to make you want to kill yourself. So Alan Donsky is really breaking some new ground with mindfulness training for children and for teachers. He goes to teachers' conventions now in the
mindfulness training.
Mindfulness.
Something that sounds like we should all maybe pay a bit more attention to.
It's moving across North America. Maybe you can comment on where that's going.
It's certainly a movement that's taking on in both in children and adolescent and as well as adult mental health for certain. I mean, anytime we're talking about the ability to attend to one's emotional, behavioral, cognitive state and to have a better understanding. If we look at what the underlying reasons or factors for most mental health issues, I mean, barring some of the maybe the genetic predisposition, we are talking about the capacity to self-regulate, the ability to attend and react to different situations, emotionally, behaviorally, and otherwise. And when you're not able to do that, not able to meet those daily demands, then we see the impact. And so things like mindfulness, as an example, are ways in which we're actively attending to that state and opening
that makes
that
a lot
tight
of sense. It
Yeah.
does. It makes
And
a
it
lot of
raises
sense.
the whole question of parenting. How well are we equipped to parent?
Kids have to have the forum to say what's on their mind. It's
That's
got to
right.
be there. It has to exist, folks. We're going to jump to another quick break and continue with the discussion. Stay with us.
Canada's grasslands are spectacular ecosystems. Many grassland species, like the black-tailed prairie dog, can't be found in any other type of habitat. Some are now at risk. But conservation groups, landowners, and governments are working together to restore grassland ecosystems. In one project, the black-footed ferret is being reintroduced to its natural prairie habitat. To learn more about grasslands and how to protect them, visit hww.ca.
I realized how naive I was.
Now, we did actually send an invite out to Alberta Health Services to join us tonight. They were unable to join, which is fine, I suppose. But they did send a statement, and I'd like to read the statement. We've got a graphic here as well. I'll read the statement. It's just actually a portion of the statement they sent. I'll let our viewers know that the full statement will be available on our Facebook page following the broadcast if you'd like to read it in its entirety.